So relationships can be difficult. They require work, discipline, self-reflection, communication skills, and all of that is a lot of effort. So if you're looking for an easy route out and to send that pesky love of your life sprinting away from you, then I'm going to break down the easy steps to destroy your relationship in the most effective way possible. And if for some reason you want to put in work and build your relationship, then I guess do the exact opposite of everything that I'm about to tell you. The first thing to do to destroy your relationship is adopt a victim mindset. Adopting a victim mindset means that you're constantly seeing the world as against you. You create a false idea that you have zero agency in your own life and that people and the universe are all conspiring against you to make you fail. So this involves things like taking everything your partner says personally, constantly adopt the idea that your partner is selfish, put all of the control of the relationship into their hands, constantly complain about how hard your life is, exaggerate your problems and take absolutely no action on them, play the martyr. So, for example, whenever there's a disagreement, you say, "You always treat me like I'm the bad guy," and it's like you don't even care about how hard my life is. Adopting the victim mindset is a crucial foundation to ruining your relationship because it means that you develop something called learned helplessness. So learned helplessness means that you develop an attitude where you're unable to function without everyone around you bending to your needs. And this means that you put all of the control of your life into others' hands. And then you can play the victim when you don't get what you want. And this is crucial for a very, very toxic, unhealthy relationship. Next, blame your partner. Blaming your partner for all of the problems of the relationship is crucial in breaking all of the trust. When you blame your partner, it means that you get to have a much easier life because you don't have to take any responsibility for the relationship that you are half of. This involves things like accusing them of causing all the problems, deflecting any criticism directed at you back onto them, never apologize or admit when you're wrong, make excuses for your behavior while highlighting their faults, use their past mistakes to justify your actions. So for example, when you forget to pay a bill, say, "Well, if you weren't always nagging me about other things, I wouldn't have forgotten." This is a perfect way to blame your partner and absolve yourself of any responsibility. You know, another really easy way of doing this is every time your partner gives you feedback, criticism, or points out a blind spot to try to help cultivate the relationship, immediately point out a flaw in your partner. This is effective in destroying your relationship because it implies that the flaw in you that they pointed out doesn't exist. The more you do this, the less responsibility and work you have to put in. The next step in destroying your relationship is force your partner to work around your emotions. So if your partner says or does something that triggers your emotions, don't take any responsibility for your emotions. Put the responsibility on them. For example, make your mood swings their problem to manage. Expect them to cheer you up without addressing the underlying issues. Get upset when they don't respond the way that you want to your emotional outburst. Refuse to discuss emotions calmly, insisting they should know how you feel. Or use tears or anger to control situations. That way, you don't have to do all of that hard work of learning to understand your triggers, identify effective ways to manage your emotions, develop effective thought patterns. You get to skip all of that hard stuff and just make other people do all of that work for you. So for example, let's say you have a bad day at work and you expect your partner to immediately cheer you up and cater to your every need, getting angry if they don't. Forcing your partner to work around your emotions is a surefire way to destroy any emotional safety between you both, destroying the intimacy and the connection in the relationship. Now, if you've worked the last step effectively, this should naturally make you punish your partner for their feelings. So for example, interrupting or talking over them during conversations, dismissing their feelings as invalid or unimportant, punishing them emotionally for expressing dissatisfaction, using silence or withdrawal as a weapon, making them feel guilty for having needs or desires. So as an example of this, when they try to express frustration about something that you say, "You're always complaining, just get over it." This way, punishing your partner for their feelings is a sure sign that you've taken no responsibility for your own feelings. Because you can't manage your own feelings, then you're completely unequipped to handle anyone else's feelings, especially your partner's. And this means that you can create a perfect negative feedback loop that gets more and more toxic over time, destroying the relationship from the inside out. Another thing that you can do is act like you're the expert on the relationship. So acting like the expert on the relationship is especially effective when you can back it up with one snappy line that you heard on some random podcast. You can do things like dismissing their opinions. You can act as though your partner's insights and feelings about the relationship are irrelevant or incorrect. You can invalidate their experiences. You can insist that you understand their feelings and experiences better than they do themselves. Or you can control the narrative. You can dictate the terms of any discussions about the relationship, always positioning yourself as the more knowledgeable party. Or you can minimize their contributions. You can ignore or belittle your partner's contribution to the relationship's health or success. And you can reject any feedback or suggestions from your partner, maintaining that you know what's best for the relationship. Now, if you want to destroy your relationship, then it's crucially important that you do not learn anything from anyone. You just need to act like you're the expert based on your own gut feelings. This leads to confirmation bias. So this is where you only look for things that support your own view. The more confirmation bias that you have, the more you'll be able to effectively dismiss all of your partner's feelings. This will give them much less reason to stick around in the relationship. So for example, when your partner tries to discuss feeling neglected, you say, "You don't understand what a real relationship needs. Just trust me, I know what I'm doing." Of course, a lot of people would say that the sensible idea would be to simply put in the work and make your life easier and better and take responsibility for your own emotions, your own actions, learning the communication skills, and all of the things that are essential to build a healthy relationship. However, if you're looking for a quick, easy way to destroy your relationship, then don't do any of that stuff. If you really want to make sure that you keep all of those blind spots in your knowledge, don't learn anything about relationships, then definitely do not join my free relationship bootcamp, where I dive deeper into all the tools that you need to turn your relationship around. So if you want to stay out of the loop and make sure that you know as little as possible about relationships, then do not click on the link in the description down below to get started today. One of the most important things to destroy your relationship is never self-reflect. So let's face it, self-reflecting means that you're likely to maybe find some flaws in yourself somewhere. And if there's flaws, then you may be expected to do something about them. So the solution is to simply never self-reflect. So just simply refuse to look inward to understand your own behavior and its impact on the relationship. Failing to identify and work on any personal flaws means that you will always be able to react defensively. So for example, whenever your partner suggests that you might need to work on being more patient or managing your emotions, dismiss it and accuse them of being the one with the problem. In never self-reflecting, this means that you avoid all of that messy work of acknowledging that you can do better, and it helps you play the victim much more successfully. And ultimately, you get to live in complete ignorance. So in showing the ability to self-reflect, your partner will not see any hope for your relationship because they'll know that you'll never change, making them feel completely and utterly hopeless. And this is a surefire way to obliterate any remaining trust in the relationship. Next, make sure you take no interest in them. Ignore their hobbies, their interests, their passions. Never ask about their day or how they're feeling. Make no effort to get to know their friends or their family, and especially show disinterest in their achievements or their struggles. The good thing about this creates a really toxic dynamic. And this toxic dynamic will mean that ultimately you're setting your relationship up for the biggest failure that you possibly can. The less attention that you pay to your partner, the more reason you have for them to leave you. Ultimately, once you've successfully followed all of the previous steps, your partner should be sprinting towards the exit. A surefire way to make sure that they want to leave and never come back is to make them feel guilty for wanting to leave. So you can do this by trying to make them feel bad for leaving you, implying that they're somehow doing something bad by looking after their own interests. Act as though it's an attack on you rather than someone actually taking the agency to make a decision for themselves for once. Ultimately, this way you get to show them that all of those negative feelings that they had about you were 100% right, that you were unable to change, to take responsibility, to manage your emotions, to be empathetic, to be humble, and that you were never willing to follow through on any of the things that you promised that you would do. And if you really want to make sure that you effectively destroy all chances of a relationship being repaired, then whatever you do, do not dig deeper into how relationships work in this video right here. I won't see you over there.